XRP will hit over $10,000 with one simple secret that the elites do not want you to know. It is no secret that XRP has been a major underdog the past 2 years. They have a lot going on right now, from the SEC lawsuit to their plans with stablecoins to the growing list of institutional partners that Ripple has. However, stay till the end where I'm going to be discussing the one simple thing that Ripple has up their sleeve that could bring it all together in a perfect storm to cause XRP to explode in value, potentially hitting extreme all-time highs. Some people are wondering, why is Ripple spending their efforts on a stablecoin instead of improving the price of XRP? Well, they're missing a critical detail here. Don't believe me? Well, let's dive into why the stablecoin is so important to the future of XRP and Ripple. Now in this video, the CEO of Ripple is going to be explaining why the stablecoin market, in his opinion, is going to get so big. And then I'm going to be diving into why the stablecoin market getting big is so important to XRP. Let's hear him talk about the stablecoin market.
The most macro view, I think many of us are believers in the stablecoin market, right? As a bridge between traditional finance and decentralized finance, stablecoins, I think, play a very important role. The market itself today, as I think we all have seen, is about $150 billion. The US dollar stablecoins by far is the dominant. Some, and certainly I'm one of these players, believes that market at 150 billion today, it's forecasted to be somewhere around 2.5 to 3 trillion in about 4 or 5 years. So that's a 20x growth.
He alluded to something really important here, and that is that this is going to be an important bridge. Stablecoin is going to be a critical bridge between traditional finance, traditional capital, traditional markets, and the future, which is going to be blockchain and that. We're going to explore that a lot more here in just a second.
And look, I also think, and we wouldn't do this unless we thought it was going to be very good to the XRP ledger. As you have seen stablecoins launch on other layer ones, you've seen liquidity in that layer one grow. Our goal as much as anything is to grow liquidity in the XRP ledger. So we view this as a good opportunity for Ripple, but an even better impact on the XRP ledger.
Right there, he touches on one of the really important roles of a stablecoin, that it really helps provide value on these different infrastructures. And why does that happen? Well, really, if you guys think about it, if you wanted to use a different blockchain, right now we have so many different opportunities, so many different options out there. Let's say you wanted to go to the Ethereum network. You want to go to Ethereum, you want to transact over there, maybe you want to buy some meme coins, whatever you want to do. But as you're trading in and out of these different cryptocurrencies, you want to have something that you could store your money in and know it's not going to be changing from day to day. And that's where stablecoins is so important. Because maybe you're going ahead and you're buying Pepe, you're buying these different meme coins, but then you want to sell out. And then while you're looking for your next opportunity, you want to hold your value in something. Yeah, you could hold it in Ethereum, but Ethereum's value shifts pretty dramatically every single day. With a stablecoin, you don't have that. You can know, hey, I put $100 into Pepe, now it's $1,000. I'm gonna cash that out, and I know as I hold this in stablecoin, I have $1,000 that now I can go put into these different opportunities. That's a really simple example, but that is so important for major institutions. They want the stability of a stablecoin. They don't want to have their value when you're talking $100 million. You don't want to see that fluctuate 4 or 5% on a daily basis. Now, another really important value proposition to stablecoins that he did not really touch on there is the fact that you can provide a lot of income opportunity. So what you're doing with a stablecoin is I give you $100, let's say, and you're going to give me $100 of stablecoins. That's essentially an IOU. It is saying that I can redeem this digital asset, the stablecoin, for $100 US. However, you can then use that $100 that I give you. You can go ahead and invest that in things like bonds and earn a yield, which right now, again, with that $100 example, you could potentially be earning about $5 a year just for holding my $100. Again, all you're doing is saying, I'm going to protect this $100 and give it back to you at some point in the future whenever you want it. And then I'm able to come and do that transaction. And so essentially, as the person who is holding my $100, you're earning passive income off that money. Now, what is $5 going to do for you? You know, in that example, $5 is going to get you your guacamole on the side of your Chipotle burrito. But when you amplify that amount, instead of $100, you're talking billions of dollars. You start talking about serious amounts of cash flow, where for Ripple, as the person holding this money for institutional investors, which is something really important that we're going to circle back to in just a second, but as they're holding this money, they could be earning hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars in assets. And so who would these financial institutional investors be? Well, currently the vast majority, supposedly around 90% of Ripple's customers, are these people. Let's hear Brad talk more about this.
At your company in the coming 3 years?
So to start on that last piece, Ripple, about over 95% of our customers are non-US financial institutions. We sell payment solutions, we sell custody solutions around blockchain and crypto. We're going to keep expanding. Even though the US market, as we were talking about earlier, partly from a regulatory point of view, has been slow to adopt, the non-US market has been really, really strong for us. And you're going to be the infrastructure around all of that. That is our goal. And we think that opportunity is huge. We think that's going to be great for Ripple. We think it's going to be great for XRP, which is a digital asset we use.
And so this is a major thing. They already have a bunch of these institutional customers. And of course, there are many more potential customers out there, but they already have a lot of institutional customers who could come along and go, hey, we want to be able to do these different transactions and be able to get a lot of advantages that cryptocurrency provides, which we're going to talk about more in just a second here. But there's a lot of these customers that they already have that'll go, here's $10 million, here's $50 million, here's $100 million. Will you hold this money for us and give us these stable coins? That way we can transact and receive a bunch of these benefits, which include things like lower transaction fees, faster transaction times, and a lot more benefits that we're going to talk about in just a second. But this is something that's really, really important, is that they already have the demand side. And so for Ripple, they already have a strong side when it comes to demand. What they need right now is the supply of stablecoin. They have an opportunity to provide the supply to meet the demand. And right now, a lot of these different international deals or cross-border deals in traditional finance are settled in US dollars, and they take a lot of time to process. You'll be looking at easily over 1 day, 2 days, sometimes even 3 days to process this transaction with significantly higher fees than something like Ripple, where you're talking a few cents on a $1,000 transaction. The big question that's important to address is a lot of people are asking, well, why are you launching a new stablecoin instead of just using XRP? Why do we need a new stablecoin? Why can't we just use XRP? Well, right now, a big problem is that XRP is volatile in the sense that the price can change dramatically. You have, again, the SEC lawsuit issues, which, fingers crossed, knock on wood, is going to be ending very soon. But this creates a lot of uncertainty and volatility with these big institutions. Right now, they're using US dollars because it's the best balance that they have between availability and stability of prices. A lot of other international currencies, you see their price either due to inflation, currency collapse, a lot of different factors. Their price or the value of their currency dramatically fluctuates. Whereas the US dollar, yes, you have inflation, you have these fluctuations more than we'd like to have, but it's one of the most stable out of the bunch and most available. Now, if you're getting value out of this video, make sure you guys go ahead, smash the like button, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on more content just like this. We're going to talk more in just a minute about how XRP could actually hit this $10,000 price point. But first, let's discuss more about these different Ripple partnerships. Now, major leg up for Ripple is their institutional partners that they currently have. We can actually dive into some of these different partners that they provide on their website right here. This is just a sample size. I want to make that very clear. This is just a sample. They have many more partners than this, but this is a couple example partnerships that they show. So right now you have partnerships for the XRP ledger, which is that open source, energy efficient, decentralized blockchain. They have these partners to help develop that, help build it out, help make sure it's secure and safe, which is really important. But they're also partnering with other things like tokenized assets, where they're trying to increase the use cases of tokenization for things like real estate, central bank digital currencies, financial assets, NFTs, stable coins. Again, stable coins coming up as a really important asset class, and many, many more. They also have institutional partners when they're trying to do these international transactions with these payout partners, where you're trying to offer low-cost, real-time, secure cross-border payments. We're also working with many different partners that do these cross-border payments, which is something super critical to the future success of Ripple, because they have such a unique value proposition compared to the current system that exists, where you have difficulty with trust, difficulty with cost, difficulty with speed. So many problems with the current system that can be resolved by the blockchain. So how are they going to tie this all together? We have these cross-border payment processors. We have these different infrastructure partners, tokenization partners. We have all these different things going on for Ripple, the SEC lawsuits right now, the stablecoin that they're going to be launching. How is this all going to tie together, and how are they going to leverage these different opportunities to make XRP hit $10,000? Let's dive into that one secret that a lot of people don't know about, the BIS. The BIS, or Bank for International Settlements, is the key to tie this all together. You might be wondering, what is this? How is this going to tie everything together? Let's dive into that right now. Well, the BIS is essentially this organization that helps facilitate these international settlements. And they are currently exploring how to make cross-border payments cheaper, faster, and more transparent. This is where we have things like this paper that they wrote, 31-page paper, talking about and diving into the potential to explore tokenized assets to try and make money flow a lot faster, cheaper, and more transparent, solving a lot of these issues. Because a big problem right now is the need for trust. They call them trust bridges in this paper, but essentially the trust between these different international organizations or institutions, it becomes a big problem because, yeah, you have some big things like the Federal Reserve in the US that is deemed a trustworthy person or trustworthy institution. However, you have institutions in other countries that are developing nations that are not viewed as trustworthy. And what's really interesting is that in this paper, they actually specifically note XRP as an option for solving these international transactions. And they talk about a potential solution to the problems is a private settlement asset and marketplace such as Ripple's XRP, and they dive a little bit more into some other options right here. But what's really interesting is in their conclusion section where they talk about what they think is a good way going forward. One of the main things that they mention is the idea of a promising model for a marketplace to trade tokenized money directly across borders. And so there's not only interest in tokenized assets utilizing the blockchain to settle these international transactions, there's interest specifically in XRP and the XRP ledger platform. In fact, they are so interested in the work that Ripple is doing that Ripple is not only just mentioned in papers, Ripple is actually currently part of a cross-border payments interoperability and extension task force. Long name for this task force, but essentially a task force trying to explore ways to solve this cross-border payment problem. When we look at some of these different people that are listed or different institutions, there are big players on this list. We can see some of them right behind me. Let me move over. There we go. We can see some of these big ones. MasterCard, Ripple's mentioned on here. Again, critical that Ripple's mentioned. Basically the only tokenization or blockchain-based organization on this list. And then we can also look, we can see Swift, the clearinghouse. When we scroll down, there's some other big ones in here. Deutsche Bank, Wells Fargo, the Bank of China, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, massive institutions, the Japan Bankers Association. Really big players are mentioned on this list trying to solve this problem, and Ripple is among the list of them. And this task force has actually put out documents like this one that highlight some really interesting problems with the current banking system, because I knew there were problems with the current banking system. You probably know there's problems with the current banking system. I didn't know it was this bad. So when we look at the regional differences in speed of retail payments, that's what this page right here is showing. There's something really interesting. The yellow section is transactions that cost or take more than 1 day to complete. When we look at, for example, Eastern Asia, you can see a large chunk of the B2B and B2B, these different transactions, the vast majority of them, in fact, take more than 1 day to actually process. Same when you look at Latin America, a huge chunk of these different transactions take over 1 day to actually deliver a transaction. And that's so insane because you could fly from, for example, Brazil to Europe or Europe to Australia faster than these transactions would take. So it would be more efficient time-wise to actually take a briefcase full of money and fly it across the globe than to actually use these online transaction processing services. And not only is the speed absolutely atrocious, when we look at the average cost of a lot of these different transactions, you guys can see we're looking at 1.5%, 2.5%, and roughly a fourth of all the different transactions have cost higher than 3%, which is, again, just mind-blowing to me. When you're dealing with, let's say, $100,000 as an institution, or probably $100 million, you're talking $3 million potentially in fees to complete that transaction. Whereas on Ripple, $1 or a couple cents at that massive scale to take over all of the international transactions, not millions of dollars just to complete a transaction. That's insane. And so as we look towards the future, we could see all international institutions using a tokenized asset like XRP or the XRP stablecoin to try and settle trillions of dollars of transactions with extremely low fees, fast processing times, and transparency. And that's where all of this really ties together, is Ripple working not only with individual bank partnerships, not only these different institutions, but on a larger scale, trying to become integrated and take over their current transaction system that has so many flaws. And so while yes, a lot of this value would probably go into the stablecoin for people settling transactions in US dollar or these different national currencies in the stablecoins, that would provide a ton of value to the XRP ledger, the platform, the infrastructure, which would inherently provide value to the XRP cryptocurrency itself. And a lot of these banks, maybe there would be some kind of incentive system for them to try and use XRP over the stablecoin. And so the future potential for XRP is more insane than anything else, because when we look at Bitcoin, we look at Ethereum, we look at these different alternative options. When we look at cryptocurrency, a lot of them, either they're too slow, they're too expensive, or there's all these different issues that come into play, whereas XRP is one of the few that already has relationships with these different banks, is always working with these different regulatory institutions to try and make XRP ledger or the Ripple ecosystem actually a system used by these banks. And this is great news for anyone who holds XRP right now, but it won't mean much if you don't hold enough XRP to become rich off this. And so how much XRP do you actually need to hold? Well, watch this video to learn why just 1,000 XRP could make you rich.